All right, hello guys. Today in this live stream, we're going to be going over a few things here. We're going to be talking about the blizzard possible for this weekend, as well as the long-range discussion, talking about a little bit more about the polar vortex and how it's gone ahead and split. So we're going to be talking about some of the prolonged cold and when we're going to expect that, as well as some forecast verification from my previous calls for, I think, let's see, it was late December. I made a few calls that were questionable to some people that ended up panning out. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that as well, and a lot of other stuff. Now, feel free to leave a comment, any questions or anything weather related. This is going to be like a discussion type live stream, so anything you might have to ask or add to the conversation will definitely be useful, and definitely a lot of mods will most likely show up, moderators, so they will be able to communicate with you guys as well. So hello, everybody. I hope everybody's day is going great. Usually not a lot of people join when I make it this time of day, unfortunately. So usually if I were to do a live stream around 3 or 4, usually gets a lot more views. Yeah, the video isn't looking good because I'm still on this page. I just want to make sure it's on the right microphone. Sometimes that's an issue as well. So we're going to go ahead and click this so we can get on Tropical Tidbits here. It's a great model website, by the way. Is the storm going to affect Connecticut? It's possible. There's two situations. There's two possible outcomes of this one. One of them, it would affect you, and one of them, it wouldn't. So, do you think there might be a major snowstorm here in South Central PA? It's looking possible, not like a guarantee here, but if it takes that more northern track, definitely you'll get involved. So Montana's not going to be affected by this storm in particular. No. Any hope for Northern Virginia? Yeah, it depends how far north. I think areas like Charlottesville up through Winchester, if you're somewhere in between there, you're kind of in like the prime location for if it takes the southern track or the northern track, you're kind of involved either way. So Virginia does have a good chance of getting hit pretty hard here with this one, I will say. I'm eating as I make this live stream, so I apologize if there's like any silence for a little bit there. Is there a possibility of strengthening and bringing a foot of snow to New York City? It looks possible at this point. I think the storm has the potential, so it really just depends if it tracks, the track favors you or not. That's kind of going to be the big question here. I'm eating pizza right now. I usually eat pretty healthy, but I just grabbed a few slices of pizza. I already feel guilty about it. I'm one of those people, by the way. My friends hate it. Also sipping on some tea. Very good. I love drinking tea. It's kind of a new thing for me. Sipping tea and looking at the weather. It's a great combo. Well, we never have a 100% sureness of what's going to happen, but I mean, you have your highest confidence right when it's about to happen. Really, we look for the pattern to take place. So basically, when the lower and upper energy both have already kind of appeared, then the models have a really good idea of what's going to happen. So that's when, that's when we'd have a really good idea of what's going to happen. Yeah, I drink every morning I drink a glass of pure black coffee, and then in the afternoon I'll have a tea with no sugar or anything in it, and then right before bed I'll drink a sleepy time tea. I love those, the caffeine-free teas. Really good. Also lots of water. I highly recommend. I always feel better when I'm constantly drinking water, so I can highly recommend that. All right. Would that be day of event then? I don't know what you're referring to. Um, Michigan. Let's see here. I haven't been paying too much attention to Michigan today. No, Michigan looks like they're going to miss out on at least this event. I mean, the GFS has multiple events popping up basically in the long range here. I mean, that's maybe 4 major storms on this GFS run in the next, 15 days. So, oh, okay. Would that be day of event then? Uh, I think that's usually about the day before, the night before maybe. So probably like 12 to 24 hours before we have a really good idea. So I wanted to talk about a few things before we get too far into the storm. I don't want to get involved with drama here as I go to my pictures here. This is a bunch of crazy stuff here. Okay, so I've prepared some stuff. So you may have heard of a fellow YouTuber, David Schlotthauer. Very good friend of mine. I've always really liked him. I communicate with him very regularly. He's you might even be some of you might even be friends with him on Facebook and stuff. I know he's very public about his Facebook, and I'm not bringing any of this information to the table as to like make anybody hate on anybody or do anything. Now, I'm bringing this to the table because I see this information as a threat, and I this worries me. So there was a fake David Schlotthauer channel going around with 1T instead of 2. People have always trolled David. I don't really know why. There's been a lot of trolls on his channel, and it really affects him a lot. And I think that he's in a very emotional position right now. So this first image I'm going to show you was a comment, and I thought this was the fake David Schlotthauer account. This one right here. And I pinned it so I could see it more. It says, going to copy your content, you're not going to like it. And this confused me, and I was like, oh, that's the troll, the 1T. And it was the real David Schlotthauer account. I clicked on it. You can find this video just to verify here. Okay. I think it's okay. So it's the previous video that I uploaded, not the one today, but the one from yesterday. I got a video manager. You'll be able to see it. This one right here, snowstorm for New England and New York. And again, I pinned it. So you will be able to find this comment if you look on the top. Again, I'm not raising any of this information to. Thank you so much, Derek Greg, for donating $10. By the way, everybody can use the super chat, by the way, like Derek just did, if you feel entitled to. Derek, I really appreciate it. But he posted this comment, and again, you can find this just to verify. I have no motive here. I just don't want, if he starts copying my content or trying to troll my channel, I just want everybody to understand what's going on. David or Derek, to answer your question, do you think Southeast Texas will get snow before the winter's over? So Southeast Texas, I think that things could get really cold in February to where we get this deep trough in the east. That's what it's going to take to give you snow. Is we're going to need a really good setup. If we get the really good setup, then it's certainly possible for you. It's hard to say likely in an area like that, but I think it certainly will have an above average chance at it in February for sure. If not late January, we could get some good setups, but I think February is looking a lot better. Anyway, I would not approach a troll like this, but this is my friend, the real David Schlotthauer. Probably I don't know, probably a top 3 or 4 weather YouTube channel. So yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with here, or what I'm dealing with. I've also had other troll accounts show up recently, and I don't know if that's him creating an account. And I wanted to show you one more. I want to get this out there and then just stop talking about it. This was a private message on Facebook, and I normally wouldn't obviously show a message. And this part that I blocked out was really personal to him. So it was a really personal comment about him. So I didn't want to show this on YouTube. It was just too personal. So I hope everybody understands that. We Facebook message a lot, and he tends to get a little bit upset if I don't reply. I'm a really busy guy, and this was at 2:10 a.m., so I wasn't even awake at all last night. How are you getting more than 50 subscribers each day while I could barely be getting 5 each day? Do you have any suggestions? I've been uploading every day. Again, I was asleep when this comment came in. I definitely would have answered. Definitely would have answered this for him, but yeah. And then he said, "Never mind. Let's talk about something else. Actually, I know you don't want to talk about subscriber stuff." Because typically he would ask me a question like this, and then I would say something like, well, if you stay consistent, like, because for me, I'm not trying to get subscribers. Some days I don't get subscribers, and I just keep uploading because I want to satisfy the subscribers I do have. And also, I love, love, love. I absolutely love making weather videos and forecasting. I would, if I didn't have the subscribers, I'd be making forecasts for just for fun. I'd be uploading private videos of forecasts if I could, if that's all I had to do. I just love it that much. And the fact that now I'm actually, this is turning into kind of a business for me, it makes me so happy. If this could somehow become my job, I would wake up and I wouldn't have to think, dread every Monday or whatever. It actually genuinely makes me happy. And that's all thanks to you guys. So I do appreciate that. He said, and again, I think he is very emotional when he sent this, but he said, "Thank you for outsmarting me, Ashton." That's my real name, by the way. It's out there now, I guess. You are making people unsubscribe from me because you are better than me. And I don't know, we don't really understand that. I guess he's trying to say like they're going to my channel instead. I don't know what he wants me to do about that, if that's the case. And you don't understand, I will be trolling your channel. And then he sent a bunch of angry emojis and said, your channel is going down. That's the part that really made me feel the need to talk about this. That part. And then the copying my content. The copying my content thing was obviously too far as well. And look, guys, I don't want anybody to hate on him. He's probably never even going to see this. I just, if there's any situation where my channel's ever getting trolled or he's actually copying my content, you would know that he did mention it before and that it's really happening. So I just wanted to bring this to the table because now I've created this business that I'm very happy about, and I can't risk it. Even from a friend like that, he's saying stuff like that scares me because I very happy about what I've created here, and he's kind of threatening that right now. So yeah, again, don't hate on him. You don't even have to contact him. I just wanted to make everybody aware. So yeah, that was kind of something I wanted to go over in this live stream. So let's get back to weather. I've always been kind of like taught him about stuff about YouTube. He did do this with MBGC combo. I didn't know about that. If you could fill me in, that would be great. I didn't know that. I also MBGC combo. I know him really good. I like his content. It's more similar to David's actually. Mine is more of forecasts, and David and his are more of like model, just showing model runs and stuff. So Yeah, and David just actually Facebook messaged me, but we're not gonna we're not gonna look at that or anything. It's too crazy. Again, I don't want this to be about like drama or anything. I did leave a nice message after he said all that stuff. Like basically, look, if you want to get more subscribers, just keep uploading content consistently, and it'll happen. And it has happened for him in the past. I know in December he's gained a lot of subscribers, so he needs to just think about the basically what he's already accomplished. That's what I think. How about current snow in Northeast? What's going on there? Well, actually, we could get into that a little bit. No, I'm not going to get any more into the David stuff. I feel like I definitely touched on that enough. I don't want anybody to hate on him again. Hmm. Do you think DC area will snow this weekend and next week? DC has a good chance of getting snow, actually. What forecast for second half of winter for PA, Maryland from late January through 20th of March 2019? February looks cold. March is kind of a question mark at this point. Marches in El Ninos can typically go either way. Could be cold, could be warm. I'm leaning towards a warm March right as of right now. February looks really cold though. Yeah, PA Maryland has a good chance at seeing snow this weekend, but we're going to continue to watch it. If you watch my video that I uploaded previously, that has a lot more information for it. Uh, Niagara Falls, New York. Yeah, I don't think from this storm you'll be seeing snow from that one for the weekend, but it looks like there's a few storms that could affect you in the future. Yeah, I love weather too. It's sickening how much I love weather. It takes over my life. It's insane. I'm addicted to weather. That could have been my YouTube name instead of direct weather. It could have been addicted to weather. That would have been very applicable for me. So yeah, we have this storm on showing up on the GFS, and then like a second one that kind of merges here, and then a third. So looks like a really good setup. Again, if anybody wants to leave any comments, any questions about the long range or the snowstorm, feel free. This is a discussion type video, so we'll be going over that type of stuff. All right. Ashton, when will North Carolina get the next big snow? So I think this storm, it's possible to happen, as we talk about right here. Obviously, it looks like some areas in North Carolina have a really good chance, but it could go further north as well. So it's kind of a big question mark here. We'll need to keep a close eye on this one, as it could just go up the coast instead. How much snow for around the northern Atlantic areas? I'm assuming you mean like New England coast and Canadian coast. Um, so I think things look. It really just depends. Northern Atlantic areas. Are you asking for this storm? That's what it really depends on. Okay, so mid and northern Atlantic. I'll just call it the East Coast. Yeah, you're looking at a decent snow chance for this weekend. A decent snow chance for this weekend, to say the least. Long range models change so fast. I do think late January, February could be stormy cold with brief warm shots. You think, my friend? Well, here's the interesting thing. It's not actually about the models for me. I haven't even taken a look at long range models in quite a while. I've looked at the Ensemble European model, but that's about it. So if you want to follow my Twitter, you can, by the way, at Prime Patriots. At Prime Patriots, you can go ahead and follow that. I post a lot of weather-related stuff that's kind of behind the scenes. Also, I guess I did look at some long-range stuff. The CFS February forecast is looking very, very cold, by the way. So that's something. That's something. And we see our polar vortex split. This is kind of what we were waiting for, to be able to say, like, look, cold is going to arrive at some point, and it's happened now. So we know that cold will arrive here. So we see our polar vortex and it's split. Some of these warmer anomalies have gotten kind of where they've gone across and connected here, and then we've split our polar vortex. So you can see there's a piece here and a piece here. And it takes a while for those temperatures to trickle down through the very high atmosphere and just trickle all the way down to surface level. This takes a lot of time. It can take a few weeks. And you can get cold without this happening. That's why we're getting some cold days now. We're getting that without the polar vortex split. But this is a really good sign for February. This happened. This means basically guaranteed cold at some point in the future here. Very good look. So we know this is going to happen. There could be warm-ups in between, but I think consistent cold is a good bet. So that's our first thing we look at is, okay, the polar vortex has split. And that's an observation, not a model run. So we know that it happened, by the way. So that's crucial. And that happened in 2014 as well, 2014 to 2015. This December and into early January has been the calm before the storm. I'm a firm believer in that. So yeah, we're looking. We'll look at kind of the medium range. The GEFS is a lot more confident in our colder temperatures in the east here. I also, I guess I should stick to the timeline here. So I wanted to take a look at, well, go weather, December. Okay. You can see I keep it kind of organized here, not super organized though. I could do a better job. So I uploaded this video about January looking cold and snowy. When was this for? This is from the 3rd to the 10th, and this actually is kind of close. We've had some colder days along here and some warmer days up there. So this was actually on the CFS, I'd call that a success. Whereas this next week, so if you look at it from the 10th to the 17th, this will most likely verify quite well, I'm thinking, from the 10th to the 17th. And also this forecast, temperature forecast, also looks quite well to verify. I think warmer temperatures for Nebraska, Kansas, and Iowa, though, in here, but looking very good. And I got a lot of hate on that video about because we had warmer temperatures to start January, obviously, and people were like, oh, blah, 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 you're wrong already. And that just wasn't the case because we were only like, 10 days into January, so you can't say it's wrong then. Pattern moving forward, which one was this? Oh, okay, so this was earlier in December. When will it get cold again? I believe my models, let's see. Okay, so by today, they had this kind of a look. And the warm could have dipped a little bit further south into here, but overall, this isn't too bad. Maybe a little bit too much cold in the east. And by the 17th, they had this, but this is going to be a little bit more specific to the east, and a lot of these areas will be warmer, but not too bad. Not too bad at all for a very long-range forecast like that. I want to find this one video. Because I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe it is. Either way, people were like, "Oh, you called for this," and I said it would be cold on the 3rd. And in matter of fact, it was cold on the 3rd. I believe it was below average that day, or one of those days. We had a brief cool down here. Well, that was about the 6th. And for New England, we got some cold. I'm trying to think, was it the 3rd? Let me know if you can't hear me, by the way. I will be sure to try to fix that. Actually, that makes no sense. Why, if you couldn't hear me? Oh, face reveal. So this is what I look like. I didn't mean for that to happen, but whatever. I guess you guys get to see what I look like. I've actually shown my face a few times. This isn't the official face reveal. It's happened before, though. I guess you guys can hear me then. So I'll go back to screen share. But yes, this is what I look like. And there's only 70 viewers in here out of my 17,000 subscribers. So you're kind of special since you got to see my face. So we'll go back to screen share here and look at what we're looking at. Tank top in January, by the way. What is this guy thinking? So we are looking. So this, around the 3rd, we had this brief little relief here for the southeast, and then it looked on the 3rd. January didn't look too good. We were like, okay, so this isn't looking too good anymore. And then right around a little bit of like a I think we're back. I don't know what keeps happening with the internet. Javen Chase, yes, that is very true. I do need a new computer. I'm thinking about Apple computer this time, so if anybody can recommend. I keep trying to talk about the weather, and every time I go back to talking about the weather, it's gone. So yeah, the screen being messed up is just the page I was on that gets kind of weird. So we saw this brief cooldown for the 8th here, where we especially in the morning, it was like, I know I live in coastal Virginia, so it was cold there. As we move forward, though, we look for the 10th, which is actually tomorrow. So we look for tomorrow to be possibly a cooldown year for the East. They're like our first little trough event. It's going to last through the 12th. Very good news. And we see a lot of these areas where I was calling for cold in January to remain cold through the 14th, 15th, 16th, another cooldown 17th. And then we see this trough again, 21st, 22nd, huge trough. Into the 25th, and it's like barely any warm-ups anymore. It's constant cold, barely any warm-ups. Basically the opposite of what we've been dealing with. And people doubted my January forecast. People doubted any of my long-range forecasts. And at the end of the day, none of them looked that bad. They just kept looking at these model runs that update every day, and they're like, oh, no. But I'm looking at the upper atmosphere. I'm looking at different things. It's the model runs just give you an idea. They don't make the forecast for you. So yes, we're looking really good right now. FV3 GFS looks a little bit warmer for that time. Or actually, it just hasn't run past today. That's the problem. So we look at the CMC, and it likes to keep these same areas colder. The Southeast especially, the areas that I'm calling for below average temperatures in for January look to remain below average. So my forecast will likely end up getting closer and closer and closer to what actually happens until we reach the end. As long as it stays cold in these areas, we will achieve a successful forecast. And this is exactly reminds me of my October forecast. I was calling for a cold October with a pattern switch at the halfway mark. Nobody believed that the halfway mark would happen. Nobody believed that it would happen, and it ended up happening. Split right around the 15th, very cold for the next 15 days, ended up verifying my October forecast. It was beautiful the way it worked out. Robbie Hill, I agree with that. With the polar vortex splitting, it's an easy call to say that that's the more likely outcome here moving forward. Hey, Direct Weather, what type of temps do you believe with polar vortex end of January into February? Pretty much what this GFS looked like. A whole lot of this type of stuff happening every once in a while. And again, the ensemble GEFS just has this little bit of a warm-up here for today. And then a cooldown for the Southeast, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. And these areas, again, I was calling for well below average temperatures, and they're the areas that remain below average. And then we get this Southeast trough, very unusual. And then 18th, 19th, 20th, a little bit of a Southeast ridge there. Nothing too serious, just for a couple days. And then we see this persistent cold. These blues are well below average. So very crazy stuff. Just got in, would you say your winter forecast is still good and that a place like Charlotte, North Carolina could still get more snow than usual? Yeah, so my forecast is basically going the way I expected it. December was never going to be a cold month, in my opinion. It was always February going to be the coldest month. January would be pretty neutral. As long as February is extremely cold for the northern United States or northeastern United States, then my winter forecast will end up verifying. It's a big what if on a seasonal forecast. The monthly forecasts are much easier to get right. Still hoping Pennsylvania, Maryland gets big snow event this weekend. Been warm lately. It's been warm for about a month for most of the United States, or the eastern United States, that is. Big turnaround coming. We're experiencing it today. Today's the last big warm day that we can see in the near future. Again, today, tomorrow, next day, next day, next day, next day, we keep the southeast trough, and it just looks cold overall for these areas. The EPS, this is upper atmosphere. You see snow for the 20th and 21st on the East Coast. Can't really see that far out. I've seen flakes a few days. No accumulating snowfall, no. Not yet. So far the ECMWF looks to doubt the most. Again, we can look at the 46-day, let's see here, the 46-day ensemble ECMWF model. This will give us a good idea. Yeah, we can kind of see Robbie Hill, that change where the Pacific Jet is going to move west. Not towards the west, but the actual place where there's that really fast movement is going to move further west, further west, further west here pretty soon. And once that happens, that allows for the split in the jet stream, creating a ridge in the west, trough in the east. So we look here. So this is on a weekly basis. So it kind of looks a little normalized. That's because it is. Okay. Okay. Good tea, good tea. So we look at, this is from the 14th or the 7th to the 14th. So this is our weekly forecast from today. You see cold up against the coast in the northeast. We move on a couple days and it continues to get colder and get a little bit warmer here. This is where the ensemble model kind of has this mild period. And then we see this really cold pattern just to end January for these northern areas and up against the East Coast. And that just sets in for February to where this moves into the southeast. And then by the time we're in mid-February, it's kind of this normalized pattern because this is an ensemble model. So this is a lot of models combined, and that usually leads to a lot of confusion. So we usually discredit this model at 1080 hours, 1,800 hours. That's pretty far in the future, a little too far. Okay. Somebody made a forecast that it notified me on for some reason. Twitter. Twitter's a really good app for keeping up with weather. Lots of good meteorologists on there. Highly recommend. Yeah, I plan on talking about Sunday right now, actually. So let me take a sip of my tea and we'll get right into it. Okay, let's see here. Alrighty. GFS model. We'll start with the GFS. We're still on 12Z, so nothing's really changed from my previous video. What we're dealing with here is a snowstorm that could go north, or it could kind of stay flat and go out to sea. GFS wants it to go flat and go out to sea. Virginia and North Carolina get affected by heavy snow. And this low pressure system, you're going to notice it goes mostly west to east, not south to north. Mostly west to east out to sea, affecting nowhere in New England or north of New Jersey, that is, on the East Coast. And it's gone. Okay. Now we look at the FV3 GFS. This is kind of like the GFS's sister right now. And we see this storm as we're still stuck on 12Z for some reason. I'd like to move on to 6Z. Take northern track, affecting Connecticut, Rhode Island, Long Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania, Maine, areas like that. And you see it takes more of a south to north track and stays really close to that coast. This is the big difference that we're going to see. This is what's going to affect the outcome of this one. We know there's going to be a storm, but will it go from west to east or will it go from south to north? CMC thinks also a very flat track, very west to east. And we can also take a look at the European model here. We're going to look. I'm waiting for this to load. I was just thinking about something real quick. We are going to see. This is going to be a good view here for as the 12Z model actually probably just came in. Might have come in. Fingers crossed. Okay, I will look at the NAM in just a second. So load up all these hours. This is the annoying thing about this website. You gotta like manually go in here and load all these little things. So boom, boom, boom. Okay. This is okay, so this is the updated 12Z run. See our snow? Ooh, and a little bit of a more northern track here on the European. Things are getting spicy, guys. Virginia, DC, Maryland, Delaware, good hit. I want to look at the New England area, though. I do want to look at this view. Very close to a hit here, guys. Way closer than the 0Z. Long Island, New York City, Connecticut. You all get snow on this run. So yeah. Give me this winter is nothing like 2014 to 2015. It's actually been exactly like 2014 to 2015 so far. So yeah. Also, you said warm winter, everyone blew their winter forecast. You said cold in east and south, warm here in southeast. I was actually calling for December. I mentioned multiple times that I thought December would be warm, and then January would be pretty cold, and then February would be very cold. So you just didn't interpret the information correctly, unfortunately. Okay, so European snowfall total, and then I'm going to get to the NAM because that was a previously requested, I think by you actually. You requested me to do that, so I am going to end up doing that for you. I want to keep that in the back of my head. So we're going to look at the snowfall total. Okay, here we go. And here we go. Looks like Missouri, St. Louis, Illinois, Indiana. You guys get a good hit. West Virginia gets a good hit. Southeast Virginia gets a good hit. New Jersey and Pennsylvania get a good hit on this one. A little bit further north, and we've got a really good hit for these people. In December, it was a bit mild than average. January average to coldish, then February bomb cold. Yeah, that's exactly how I would sum up 2014 to 2015 as well. January had its hit or miss phases. I think this month, this year, we're going to be seeing kind of like that first half is iffy. Second half looks a lot like February is going to look, which is very cold. And even if it does look iffy in late January, that doesn't change that February is when we're really going to feel the effects of the polar vortex previously having split. That's what's really going to drive February to be very, very, very wintry. And we have all the components there. And I feel that weekend storm is days away and not betting any money on that storm if it happens. This could be a sign of bigger storms by late month. Well, yeah, we're in a good MJO phase. So that usually leads to these types of situations where we can actually spot out the situations that are going to happen. When you go into phase 7 and 8 of the MJO, you do get things like this. Also, I think that we can basically say there will be a storm. We know there will be a storm. It's what you don't bet your money on is where it's going to set up. Is this going to affect mostly Missouri and Illinois? Is it going to affect mostly Virginia? Or is it going to affect mostly New England and Pennsylvania and New Jersey and New York City? There's so many things that could happen. We know there will be a storm somewhere. That's the good news. How much snow do you think Long Island will get this weekend? Well, I think it's a safe bet that you're right now looking at 1 to 3 inches of snow. That could go up anywhere from 6 to 8 to 10 inches, or it could go down to 0. Hope we get slammed. Let's hear some good news. Joseph Moore, you're in Kentucky. Yeah, I think you have a really good chance at this one, especially if you're in northern Kentucky. You definitely have a really good shot here at seeing some sort of snow at least. Looks like South Coast New Jersey gets a nice hit, huh? Yeah, on this run especially, gets a really good hit. Do you think the track will change this winter so Wisconsin could get snow? It could. I think some clippers are going to start coming through, and that's really going to change things around for you guys. Yeah, February looks really enticing, to say the least. Really, really looks very exciting. So I can't wait for February. Can you show the current sea surface temperatures for the El Nino? Yeah, absolutely. So we'll take a look at our analysis tools here. And our El Nino has cooled down a lot, but we see mostly these warm temperatures out here, cooler temperatures over here, and your PDO is looking great. Absolutely looking great. Sea surface temperatures near the coast also looking really good for as my screen just froze up, so I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but probably because it just came back. Our 7-day change, you can see there's been a lot of cooling in here, a lot of warming up against this coast. So some good things happening. Oh, thanks, Techman. I totally forgot. I freaking knew I was going to forget about the NAM. Did you want to see the 12 km or the 3 km? Because I'm showing both. First, I'll show the 3 km. Very high resolution model. Very fun to look at. And you can see your storm develop. Missouri and Arkansas like to get a good hit here. Looks very similar to the GFS run right here. 12 km, though, is a lot further north of the 3 km. We see this move through, and this looks very far north here. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, all getting a good hit, whereas the GFS keeps it way south, way further south. The NAM is thinking, and long-range NAM is not a good idea, by the way, but Um, it does look quite good, to say the least. Yeah, so El Nino is kind of dying at this point. We're gonna see the conditions linger through February, but yeah, El Nino is in the process of dying, I believe, and it will continue to die. And also, next winter looks to be a La Nina as well. Uh, definitely looks like a La Nina. Yeah, so the PDO on paper doesn't look that good, but on the actual surface map, you can see it looks really good. So I'm not too worried about like on paper how good it looks. Um, will our lakes ever freeze? Most likely in February, depending on where you live. You will see those lakes freeze, no matter what lakes they are. So yeah, that's currently the situation we're looking at here. Do you know when the UK will get some snow? I can look real quick. So I can tell you like if I think they're gonna see any snow, but I certainly won't be able to give you any sort of like anything more than just a model overview. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have some low pressure systems in the long range. You see, everything's kind of going to your north here and hitting Sweden and Finland um, through the 15th. Probably you've been in that type of a pattern. You can correct me if you're wrong. I don't pay too much attention to the UK. But where we start to see these creep south as we hit the 17th, and you even get a good rain event by the 18th, and then 19th, really good rain event. And then finally, we get a low pressure system to go under the UK and hit France. This leads to snow for a lot of the UK. And it even looks like we get stuck in this pattern of a very big trough here for all of Europe, basically, or at least Western Europe. So, not necessarily France or France. Uh, does La Nina mean winter won't do much? Again, yeah, not necessarily. We've had a lot of good La Nina winters, 2010 to 2011, huge blizzard up against the East Coast. Lots of good things can happen in La Ninas. So it's just different. It's not better or worse, just different. I need two more good winter storms to be okay. You might end up getting that. La Nina bring snow to the Northeast? Yeah, yeah. In general, like it still snows in the Northeast. Yeah. So, looking at the East Coast of the United States again, requested to talk a little bit more about February. So we're gonna do that. Looking at the weekly CFS. This is February. And we see cold, cold. Through February. This is through February 20th. So it looks really cold, especially for these northern areas in New England and then up against the East Coast with really warm in the West. It's kind of what I've suspected all along. Again, the CFS is really kind of an ensemble model, so it does look kind of suppressed sometimes. See, as we start to run, looks really extreme and then kind of just milds out and doesn't look too crazy. So where you see the blues, it'll likely be a little bit more blue, and then where you see the reds, it'll likely be a little bit more red as well. I worry about La Nina, and if a moderate or greater, that could mean either warm slash dry winter or cold slash dry winters. Not all La Ninas are the same. Yeah, they're not all the same. It really La Ninas. It depends on all the other factors as well and how they combine. Hey, Lucinda, Southeast Virginia. That's where I'm from too. Crazy, crazy small world. We need a lot more deep freeze to kill the bugs from all the rain we've had here. Yeah, absolutely. Mosquitoes everywhere still. I agree. It's coming. It's coming. So you think winter is still alive for more snow? Yeah, if you're just now joining, I think this is the turning point. We're already at the turning point. How long will the cold hang around in Kentucky? Well, February looks really cold for you. You could flip flop a lot in January, though. So, so yeah, that's kind of how February looks. I'm glad I was able to touch on that a bit. Let me see here. I'm getting a lot of views from the live stream. Oh my goodness. The live stream viewers actually adds up to your analytic views. People that aren't creators don't really know that. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, Liverpool. It just depends what kind of La Nina. Again, we don't really know if it'll be strong or weak or whatnot. Yeah, usually, Robbie, if I do the live streams more around like 3 p.m., gets hundreds of viewers. 4 p.m., 3 p.m. that time. Ethan J. Smith, I hope to be like you one someday. Thank you so much. I'm sure you will. You'll be better than me one day. Don't try to be like me. Be better than me. Georgia needs snow. Yeah, pretty much everywhere in the East feels like they need snow, but it's coming. Lucinda, loving ya from Prince George, VA. Thank you. I'm from the Norfolk area, so I'm sure you're quite familiar. Techman 330. Are you going to school for meteorology? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. It's not too late to go to university. So good to see a lot of locals from Virginia in here. Really cool. Franklin County, Greencastle, PA. Beautiful area up there. Pennsylvania is a beautiful state. Hi, Florida gonna get strong cold fronts in February then? Possible for sure. Possible. Javen Chase, as long as there's people watching my videos, I will always be uploading videos. Pats fan B, go Patriots. Go Patriots. Seems Norfolk has problems battling winter weather because of ocean? Typically, but we've had some really good storms in the past. Last January, about the 3rd of January, I received about 16 inches of snow overnight. So had a lot of storms like that. Winter storm, December 2010, got around the same. So I've gotten a lot of 8-inch plus storms before, which is surprising. Tony, it probably won't be too mild anymore from this point on. So Lucinda, I think you have a chance at some snow here. Your typical Virginia snowstorms. We have decent chance here for late January into February, and I think we'll at least hit our average snowfall. So that's how I feel as of right now. If you're asking about this storm in particular, I'm not quite sure if we'll receive any yet, but we will see. Yeah, Javen Chase. It's something about that East Coast, like some winters you get nothing, and then the next one you just get a big one out of nowhere. Very crazy. What's Eastern PA snowfall for the next storm? It's looking like a decent chance. Could stay south of you or could hit you. We're gonna need to keep an eye on it. What's average again? Direct weather for VA. I know my average is about 7 inches of snow. You could definitely search up your average snowfall in Google. It's very easy, and you can get an exact number. Why is it so windy in Pennsylvania? Let's see if I can answer that question for you. Well, we're having a low pressure system to your north, so I'm assuming, yeah, with the low pressure system to your north and then the high pressure system to your west, this kind of leads to these isobars being very pinched, and that leads to very windy conditions. Will you stream more? If you guys want me to, I'll stream more. I used to do it quite regularly. I can start doing it regularly again. What is going to happen between Saturday and Sunday snowfall for Philly area? We'll need to watch it. You're in a pretty good position. It could go a little bit south of you, or it could hit you pretty good. So we'll keep a close eye on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to keep a closer eye on that. I'll definitely be updating you on that for sure. Will there be any chances for snow? I'm expecting a very cold late. Well, I'm expecting a decently cold late January and a very cold February with multiple snow chances coming up in the medium range, and even into the long range, we're looking at really good chances for snowfall. So in the southeast, yeah, you're having an above average chance at snowstorms, but there hasn't been anything that I can see yet for you. Hello, 99 Wolves. How's it going? Do you think snow will go into March 3-week? It's really hard to say. I think basically from early February till late February, literally the whole thing, with some warm ups at some points, but you can't really tell when it's going to be. But it's inevitable that there will be some warm ups. Will it be snowy for Detroit, like heavy snow? Can't really say. Thanks, George Senda, for sharing the videos, by the way. Yeah, it's quite warm there today for sure. Hopefully we get some snow soon on Long Island, New York. Looks like you're going to be getting that soon, possibly this weekend. Alex Miller, it's kind of hit or miss. There's a 50% chance it misses you to the south, 50% chance you get hit. So we're going to keep an eye on that. South Jersey, you're looking at anywhere from 1 to 6 inches, really. 0 to 6 inches. Yeah, Robert, it happens. It happens for sure. I think Southeast Virginia is going to miss this one, Frank. I think it's going to go to the north. Crusher 1957. That's an interesting comment. When is the cold truly going to come in and stay? I think probably the first week of February is when it's really going to truly stay. But we for the southeast areas, at least the United States and kind of East Coast, yeah, we're kind of seeing that transition now. It is getting colder and windy. Yeah. Only Wednesday. Wait till late Thursday for updates on the storm. Yeah, for any sort of excuse me, for any sort of information, like for specific snowfall for your exact area, I'd recommend waiting a few days, and then we would have a better idea there for snowfall amounts. The video that I uploaded today was just to show you guys, look, there's a storm coming, not to be like, here's your forecast for your location, that type of thing. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this one because I am getting extremely tired and I have stuff to do today. I really appreciated being able to talk to you guys for a few hours today. Been a very long live stream. But yeah, I hope all of your answers got, or all of your questions got answered. And I hope that if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you decide to as well. Just to answer your question, Doug, is there any way to know if you're planning a live stream other than simply getting the notification when you start? Yeah, I'm going to start notifying people on my Twitter when I'm going to be starting a live stream, like maybe 30 minutes before I do. That's at direct, or that's actually on Twitter at Prime Patriots. No space. At Prime Patriots, I'll announce the streams on here. So if you follow that, you'll be able to know when I'm going to be streaming. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video or the next stream.